Nice, got some rest. We had a good week of practice. Get to play the Cal Bears this week, Pac-12. Going into the season, they were seen as one of the sleepers in the conference, I think. But I think they proved that they are a worthy competitor in that conference. Very salty on defense. Really good group. Coached, obviously, the head coach, Justin Wilcox, a great defensive mind, coached at Boise State for a while and at Wisconsin, and he's been around. And with Tim DeRuyter, who I've competed against at UNLV when he was the head coach of Fresno State, two really good defensive minds. And then offensively, Bo Baldwin, former Eastern Washington head coach who won a national championship with them, runs their offense, and he's very well schooled in offensive football. So we've got some really good coaches, some really good players, and it's going to be a challenge going to of all the places. I've been to everywhere in the Pac-12 except Cal. It's the first time I've ever been to the Memorial Stadium, so I'm kind of fired up for that one. So anyways, that's what we're looking at. It's going to be fun.
Rob, I watched the North Carolina game, I watched the BYU game. They seem to be really comfortable playing those two quarterbacks, and sometimes that's hard for a team. Different cadence, different snap counts, tendencies and stuff. As a coach, how do you prepare? I mean, you don't know exactly who's going to be playing in what situation.
You more or less got to have two game plans in terms of when they want to get number 5 in there, number 7. Coaches, we know numbers, not names. So I go by numbers. So names, I don't know names. I know numbers. That's what we look at. I know number 7 started against the Cougs, and they put number 5 in there and do some things. So yeah, it's tough. You got to be ready for both.
Number 7, he has rushing and passing, receiving. I mean, he actually was up there with the running backs for his rushing. So what do you do to prepare for a quarterback who can run and also throw?
Yeah, I think I heard 7 was doing their laundry too and everything. He just does everything for them. So no, he's like I said, you gotta be gap sound. You gotta have your eyes right. You gotta get lined up. You gotta stay lined up and all that. So it's not an easy task.
What do they do on defense, and how have they gotten better defensively since Wilcox got there?
Yeah, well, this year they haven't allowed a touchdown in the first 3 quarters of both their games, and that right there in and of itself is a monumental task. They're just even when you think you have them on a play, like, hey, we got them on this, up front their secondary is right there, or vice versa. And like I said, there are a lot of movement, big, long, athletic guys that don't miss tackles, and they play their scheme very sound, and they're very physical, and they play defense the way defense is supposed to be played. They try to they really try to bring it when they get to you.
You've had 2 weeks to kind of focus on the Bears. What is the one thing that you've learned while studying them over the last 2 weeks?
They're really good. They're a really sound, solid defense. They have 2 linebackers that both had 12 tackles against BYU Saturday. They have a couple of corners that are very physical, and when they play press on you, they're going to try to take away your releases, and they do a great job. And so they got a outside backer, defensive end type guy who's very difficult to pick up coming off the edge. Comes off with a lot of speed. So like I said, it's I'll be glad when this one's over and we can move on to the next one, because like watching these guys over and over again, they're a really salty defense.
I was going to end off that question. What have you guys done differently to prepare, or just kind of you just keep working at it as you guys do?
We do what we do, and no, there's really you have little subtleties in your game plan, but here we're on game 2, we're not on game 8. We're still establishing our identity.
Rob, they've got 6 interceptions already in 2 games. Now, I know you've broken down all the tape. Is that just because of their aggressiveness on defense or mistakes on the part of who they were playing?
Yeah, they're 17th, they're right here, 17th in the nation, turnover margin #1 in the Pac-12. That's big. And it wasn't like they were playing, you know, some lower level teams. They were playing North Carolina, BYU, 2 excellent teams that are well coached. And they're very opportunistic. They close on the ball, and so if it's tipped up in the air, they're going to have a guy right there to pick it off. And you know, they're 7th in the nation in turnovers gained. That's huge, you know, and #1 in the Pac-12. But they're ball hawks, man. They play it like you're supposed to play it. It's fun to watch, actually. As much as you hate it, but it's fun to watch.
What was the bye week like for you guys? I mean, anything special or different, or just?
No, since we're so early in the year, we just went through a normal game week. If it was later in the year, we would have probably taken some days off, but we had a normal week. And this time of year, it's important to be to still get into your routine. You know, like I said, if it was like last year or it was a week before the Weber game, we would have altered it a little bit, but we're not in that position right now. We need to keep going normal. So that's all. We just had a week of preparation.
What can you learn as a coach, or what can your players learn from playing a team like Cal?
Well, you know, every guy on the team strives to play at the highest level, and so guys can go out in this one to prove to themselves, hey, or prove to us, or prove to whoever, you know, I belong at this level, and that's definitely a motivating factor. Plus, you know, just the fact that you know, going to play a Pac-12 team is exciting, and that's why you play them on Saturday.
And you got a lot of guys from California and stuff, so I'd imagine they had a lot of family and stuff.
Yeah, and there's a lot. It's funny, you go through the roster, and a lot of those guys played. You know, they know each other, played on 7-on-7 leagues or whatever. You know, so played with each other on a 7-on-7 team, or you know, whatever it is, and that kind of makes it fun too. Have a little regional matchup like that.
How many guys are you traveling, and any unavailabilities this week?
We're taking 70. We're allowed to take 70, and when we go play an FBS team, that's the number. So no, we'll take all 70. That helps with special teams. And unavailabilities, I'll know Thursday more, because we go by the week. Whatever the trainers tell me. Whoever can get on the plane will get on the plane.
Overall thoughts on week 1 win and this upcoming game against Cal?
Good.
I think we played pretty well. Our week 1 win, I think we did well. There's definitely some things we need to improve on. Conditioning, we did a lot of hurry up, and that kind of showed with the offensive line, more or less, that we kind of still got a little conditioning to do. First game's kind of always that way, you know, got to pick it up a little bit, you know, maybe do a little extra after practice conditioning, you know. And then also moving on to Cal, I mean really that they're a good defensive line. They're a good defense, just like Coach Phenicie was saying. I mean they're big guys, so it's really what it is, and it's going to come down to technique. I mean that's how it goes. I mean a lot of times we may be undersized, but I mean technique always wins. The lower man wins. That's how it works on the offensive line. I mean they're very good. Their defensive ends are quick and they're fast. Their nose guards, he's big. He's 350 pounds. But technique's always going to win.
Looking towards Cal, what do you guys, you're going to be facing, you guys are large, you're going to be facing even larger guys out there. How do you kind of mentally prepare to face, or even physically, to prepare to face someone who's going to give you a run for your money?
You know, I think games like this, I think we proved it coming in Nevada last year. You got nothing to lose. So, you know, why not us? Why not just go out there and get after it? You know, they're just, sometimes it can be kind of intimidating, but you just got to remember it's just another guy. Low man wins. The guy that wants it more is going to win.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Do you guys view these games any differently after you beat Nevada last season? Excuse me.
No, we view them all the same. I mean, I really view Cal the same as I would any other defensive line I'm going to play. It's another opponent. I can't overlook them. I can't underestimate them or And I also can't be intimidated. I just got to go out there and play. I mean, Jake and I have played enough football where, I mean, if we're being affected by this emotionally or being timid just because they're bigger, then we have bigger issues. I mean, we're going to show up and we're going to play. I mean, that's what we've always done, and there's always going to be someone, well, bigger than me. I don't know about Jake, but there's always going to be someone. I'm not necessarily the heaviest guy out there, but I mean, I show up and I'm there to move people off the ball.
Does the crowd, guys, you know, when you're playing in a venue like that, probably going to be filled, a lot of people. Does the crowd ever become a factor for you guys?
I think
Or do you just put it out of your mind? Yeah, there's X number of people here.
I think it's kind of a motivator. I think it's fun, you know, whenever we do something awesome or we hit a guy really hard or, you know, blindside and pancake a guy and hearing the boos, I think it's pretty awesome. I really, there's no better feeling just knowing, like, because that's, you did something right there, like, and everyone saw that. So I think it's kind of a motivator.
Yeah, along with that, I mean, just hearing the crowd just go silent. I mean, just after a big play, I mean, there's nothing more motivating for an offense. I mean, they get loud because it's supposed to help the defense out, but they don't understand just the energy. Maybe they're not cheering for you, but just the energy that there is in a stadium like that. I mean, it gets everyone going.
Hearing that they have one of the best defense just in general, does that, I mean, you said that you aren't intimidated, but does it almost fuel your fire, or does it help you prepare in any sort of different way, or is this just another team that we're going to face and try our best at?
It does help kind of locking it in for practice in the week, just knowing I have to give everything I got in this practice so I am mentally and physically ready to take on a defense like that. I don't think it's as concerning as people might think, because it is just people. They're coached very well, they're very good players, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, we're coached really well too, and I think we're pretty good players, so I think we just go ahead, get after this practice and get ready for it. We'll be all right.
Fresh legs. It's nice to get a little break, not playing a game, not getting those live reps like that. Your body gets a little break. Feels good.
Yeah, same. I feel fresh. Last week's practice was just normal practice, but you know, just whenever we have those kinks or bruises or anything, just go to the training room. I feel great.
Does playing a team like Cal excite you, motivate you? Is it like where is your guys' mindset at, I guess, feeling-wise, when you're heading into a game like Cal?
You try to stay even keel, like every game, but you know your emotions they can sneak up on you, but I'm just trying to go into this game as any other game, but I am motivated and ready to play these guys. They're a really good team, really good coaches, so ready to go.
Guys, you've seen a lot of tape on Sherp, a lot of video on Cal. Reading some of the scouting reports on Cal, they're rumored to have some of the best receivers in the Pac-12. What do you see on tape from those guys?
I mean, those guys, they're really athletic, really fast, but at the end of the day, we know if we keep our eyes right, we just know those guys put on their pads and strap up just like us. So, you know, if we play keen and stick to our 1-11, then hopefully we can try to stop them a little bit.
But those guys, yeah, they are a good group of receivers. You know, Cal's known for having always having a good receiving core. But yeah, we just can't let them get behind us, keep everything in front of us, and but yeah, we do got to be wary of their athleticism and speed. But I feel like our defensive backfield is pretty athletic too, and we can keep up with those guys.
Coach Venn said that it's kind of hard to find your guys' identity until you play North Dakota, being a Big Sky team. But right now, could you two put an identity to your defense, or at least the corners?
I would say our identity is just what we can control, our effort and attitude. That's what we try. That's what we strive to perfect every day, because we're the ones that can control it. So I would say our identity is just attitude and effort, and just trying to get to the ball, all 11 of us.
And I feel like we want to play as fast as possible, try to swarm to the ball, get 11 heads every time.
Do you guys know many of their players, and what is that like when you're playing a team that has a roster full of guys from the same area that maybe you played in high school or whenever else?
I know a couple names on the roster, but I mean it's just like any other team. I feel like we're always going to know a guy here or there, but I mean you just want to compete and get on the field with those guys. So it's just
Yeah, I personally don't know anyone on the team, but I know guys like on the team have gone to school with some guys on the other team. But yeah, knowing someone on the other team, I guess like it's just like you don't know them because when you're playing, it's just all that stuff is thrown out the window. But you know, probably seeing them after the game or something, those guys will get them.